Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a good day. There's a lot of new information coming out from various people about the Kiely Rodni case. Some of it's good and it's pertinent, and some of it, to be honest, is just complete trash. Just craziness. I mean, some of the places that a few people are taking this is just nuts. I mean, to me anyway. I just think that there's just anyway. I think that speculation and imagination is taking this in directions that we don't need to go, and we're getting way outside the bounds of common sense in a lot of these videos. But hey, that's just me. That's just me. As for myself, I've just been trying to concentrate on the main players. Law enforcement, the friends, the family, and Adventures with Purpose. And now, if you've watched my videos, you know I'm coming from the stance that Kiely was seen the next day after the party at Boca Reservoir. And that's the stance I'll continue to take until I'm proven wrong, simply because it makes the most sense to me. As I stated yesterday in AWP's recovery video, the public version had a clip taken out that was in the members-only version. And in that clip, Nick, the service driver, said that the female he encountered introduced herself as Kiely. And I still believe it was Kiely who he saw. The way she was acting, the weird questions that she was asking, the way that she kept moving away from the guy that was with her every time he tried to get near her. And so, the way I think, to me, that's the only thing that makes sense. Now, we're supposed to get a statement from law enforcement around November 1st and what their determination of the case might be. And there's many of us who suspect they'll sweep this under the rug like they've done so many other cases in that area and call it an accident. I also know there's many of us who are set to take action and stir up a freaking hornet's nest if that happens. And I know that a lot of you have told me you're behind that, and so they're in. If they come out and try to sweep this under the carpet, they're in for a battle royale with us. Now, what I'm presenting to you today is nothing new. I'm sure many of you, if not most of you, have seen most, if not all, of the interviews done with Adventures with Purpose on the various channels and the various live streams and so forth. Now, today, I want to go over some of the statements AWP made as to whether they felt this was just an accident or if they think that foul play was involved. And also give you my thoughts on the statements they made. Keep in mind that they were right there, interacting with the people and seeing everything. And it's obvious from their statements that there's a lot of things they saw and heard that we are not privy to. Now, we've all been operating on partial information. And that's no fault of ours. I mean, we can only work with what we have, right? But AWP was there. And there is a major difference between watching something on video and being right there in the middle of the action in person. So I want us to look at the comments, or at least, not all the comments, obviously, we don't have time for that, but just some of the ones that I picked out. I want us to look at the comments that they made, that AWP made concerning the case. And we're going to look at statements by Jared Lysick, Doug Bishop, and Nick Wren, along with my comments on what they said. Now, I want to start out looking at some comments from Doug Bishop. He says, when things don't add up, they don't add up. Too many coincidences, man, that's hard for me to say, coincidences become evidence. Some people say, oh, circumstantial stuff, circumstantial stuff. Circumstances, when they add up, circumstantial things add up, they become overwhelming. At this point, I'm beyond 50-50. Absolutely, could this be an accident? They could come out and say that, but no one's going to believe it. This isn't a wrong turn road either. This isn't even a road. It's a path with huge ruts in it. So it's not a mistaken turn. When I drove our RV down to get there, it was wobbling and almost turning over. There were several times I almost rolled it over and flipped it. This is either the worst accident ever, or it's definitely foul play. I am definitely majority thinking there's a lot of suspicion in areas there shouldn't be. All right. Now, when Doug says there's a lot of suspicion that shouldn't be, I truly believe he's not talking just about Kiely being in the water in the back of the vehicle. There's another interview I watched a while back that I tried to find it and I can't find it. But there's an interview where he's talking about being there and where he mentions the strange vibe he got from the people he interacted with. So when he talks about there being a lot of suspicion, I think he's speaking of the whole situation while they were in the Truckee area, not just Kiely being in the back of the car. I'm wondering if he got the same cult-type vibe that a lot of us have. I know that even before I mentioned the word cult in any of my videos or even suggested it, I received dozens of comments from my viewers saying, oh, I really get a cult-type vibe from these people. So if you and I feel that vibe from the community just on video, imagine actually being there and interacting with the people in person, how much stronger that would be. All right, now, let's take a look at some comments from Jared. And he says, and now when you start breaking this down, again, just speculation, even though she is a small gal, you only have so much space. You also have this car is not sinking in the same way that a car with the windows up are going to sink, which would be a 2 to 10 minute float. And the car drops down, you have, plenty of air in there that's going to give you time to think about how you're going to escape by putting the windows down versus a window that is down, which now you have nothing trapping the air, which means the vehicle is going to go under much quicker. And then when they asked him if he suspected foul play, this is how Jared responded. He said, I'll say this. I would not have put that in our title if we thought it was nothing more than an accident. And you remember the title of the video was, I can't remember the whole title, but it says accident or murder. So he says there's an entire other theory that it would blow your mind if I even told you, based upon additional, even just going with, let's see, without giving away too much, without me saying anything really, if you think about the two people who were moving around the vehicle, there could be more to that story. All right. So now this just drives me crazy because I'm just like, how they say curiosity killed the cat. It's like, I'm really, really curious as to what the rest of the story is. Okay. Now also keep in mind that when he was speaking about the conversation with Nick, the service driver, they said they only released about 10% of that. And then when speaking earlier in this interview, Jared also said that they would not only release the rest of that interview with Nick, but would also release the complete interaction with the dad and granddad. Right off the bat, that makes you wonder why they kept back part of the interaction with the dad and the granddad. Now, this is just a thought that hit me when I heard that. So, I'm not making any accusations. This is just my opinion. This is just me brainstorming again, okay? But why would they hold that back? Why would they, what could be in that interaction with the dad and granddad that couldn't be released? Is this related to the other theory Jared spoke about that he said would blow our minds? Oh, very intriguing, huh? My opinion on this is I really think Kiely's dad thinks Lindsay is involved somehow. And that's just my opinion. I may be totally wrong, and you know that, so whatever. But that's my initial thought on it. And so whatever Kiely's dad told AWP, it had to be something he had personal knowledge of and relayed to them. And I don't think he had any special information about the party or anything like that. So I don't think it's any inside information as far as, on that. If it's his own information that he's relaying to them, his own personal knowledge, logically to me anyway, it can only be one of two things. He either suspects Lindsay and that she was involved in this, or he suspects that law enforcement is covering this up on purpose. You do remember when he was shown where the vehicle was, his first words were, "How the F did they miss this?" Or it could be a combination of both. I mean, right now, it's like, who knows? It could be a number of things, I guess. But those are the things that I'm just going by what makes sense to me. Maybe, y'all can think of some other reason, but to me, those are the only two options. And the only reason AWP kept back a portion of that interaction with them, I guess the third option is, if he had some info on Kiely's friends and suspected them, but that, I don't know, it just doesn't make as much sense to me and goes against my gut feeling on this. I mean, it's always a possibility, but it doesn't ring right to me. All right, next we're going to look at the comments by Nick Wren, who was the diver who found Kiely, found her vehicle. Of course, if you watch the recovery video, his first comments when he found her, after taking a long time to compose himself so he could even speak, he says, "She's in the back. She's not in the driver's seat. It looks suspicious to me." I mean, that's the first thing out of his mouth. All right, here's his quotes. He says, "As we all know now, she was in the back of the vehicle. I also know that it's not just a guarantee that if somebody's found in the back of the vehicle, that it's instantly foul play. However, when something looks out of place to you, you just know that. So it did look suspicious to me. That's about all I can really say. I'm not basing it off of past experience. I'm basing it off just the way the whole weekend played out. The things I heard and what I saw, it seemed a little suspicious to me." You catch that? The things I heard and what I saw, it seemed a little suspicious to me. Now, you can tell that Nick's trying to be very circumspect with his comments. Like the others, I'm pretty sure there are things he'd like to say, wishes he could say, but he can't. We saw the recovery video and how shook up he was when he came out of the water after finding Kiely's vehicle. In fact, I'll tell you, it was his reaction. Like I think I've said this before, I had never even heard of Kiely, Rodni, until I was just been binge watching all of AWP's videos and just happened to come across this one, and it was Nick's reaction and how shook up he was that really got to me and made me decide to get involved in this case. I mean, I've never even thought of getting involved in a case and start making videos before. But this was so heart-wrenching, so sad. I felt compelled to get involved and add whatever insight I could to the case. And I hope what I've been doing has been helpful to all of you. And like many of you, I'm going to be so glad when the rest of the information is made public and we can see a lot more of the big picture. I just want justice for Kiely. As I'm sure that all of you, we all want the same thing. We're all on the same team. We all might have different opinions on things, but you know what? It didn't matter. The only important thing is that we find justice for Kiely. She deserves it. Okay. Y'all have a good day. We'll catch you later.